Welcome back. For years now, there's been this unspoken rule in AI. If you wanted the absolute best, the real state-of-the-art reasoning, you had to pay the proprietary tax. You were, locked into the big guys.
Right. That assumption was just a fixture of the industry. It felt permanent.
And now it seems like that fixture has just been completely dismantled.
Utterly shattered.
We are looking at the technical report for DeepSeek V3.2 Special, and wow, this isn't just good for open source. This is a new state-of-the-art contender.
It really is. I mean, we're talking gold medals in the International Mathematical Olympiad, the IMO, and the IOI for informatics.
And it's not just catching up. We're looking at benchmark tables that show it's actually outperforming giants like GPT-5 High in some really key areas.
So if you're tracking the democratization of intelligence, this DeepSeek release is, it's arguably the biggest news of the year.
Absolutely. So today, our mission is to unpack the source material, dig right into those benchmark tables, and figure out what this all means. Let's get into it.
Okay, before we even touch the crazy numbers, we have to talk about the names.
Yes, it's confusing.
Very confusing. DeepSeek released 2 models, and if you don't get the difference between them, the whole performance picture makes no sense.
Right. We have DeepSeek V3.2, the regular one, and then DeepSeek V3.2 Special. They are not interchangeable.
Not at all. Think of regular V3.2 as the generalist. It's the workhorse. It's built for agentic workflows, for using tools, for general chat. It's fast and efficient.
So if I'm building a coding agent or a search bot, that's my guy.
That's your guy.
Yeah.
It's the balance of smarts and speed. But the special variant, that's a whole different beast.
That's the one breaking all the records.
Precisely. The V3.2 Special is the thinker. It's a pure reasoning engine. No tools, no web browsing. In fact, it's specifically designed not to give you short answers.
And the reason for that is a technical one, right? Something they did in the post-training phase.
Exactly. During the reinforcement learning phase, they basically relaxed the length constraints. They let the model generate these enormous sprawling chains of thought to solve problems.
So they're not optimizing for speed or cost, just quality of thought.
I like to think of it as a professor locked in a room with infinite chalk. He's not going to check your email, but he might just solve the Riemann hypothesis.
That's a great analogy. And that's the model producing these shocking benchmark numbers.
Truly shocking, because it's not just one win on one niche test. The consistency across these really hard domains it's undeniable.
Let's start with the big one, the math victory. I'm looking at the AIME 2025 benchmark. This isn't simple arithmetic.
No, this is a brutal test of mathematical creativity.
And the numbers. DeepSeek V3.2 Speciale scored 96.0%.
Which on its own is incredible. But the context is everything. GPT-5 High, the model everyone assumed was the peak, scored 94.6%.
So it's just objectively better.
At this specific, very difficult task, yes. It's not a rounding error. It's a clear win.
And it's not a fluke. I see here HMMT Feb 2025, it's at 99.2%, and IMO Answer Bench, 84.5%. It's just dominating in math.
And then there's the coding. The Codeforce's rating for the special model is 2701.
Okay, 2701. Put that in human terms for us. How good is that?
That puts it in the Grandmaster tier. To put it another way, this model codes better than 99% of professional human software engineers.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, and we have to be honest observers here, Gemini 3.0 Pro is technically a hair better at 2708.
But at that level, is that a meaningful difference?
In practice, no. It's basically a statistical tie. The point is, an open source model is trading punches with the absolute best in the world.
But wait, here's the thing that stands out to me. If it's a master of logic, a grandmaster coder, why is it falling behind on general knowledge?
You're looking at the HLE benchmark.
Yeah, humanity's last exam, it's not winning there. Not even close. Gemini 3.0 Pro gets 37.7%, and DeepSeek Special is way down at 30.6%.
And that's the crucial caveat. That's the special part. It suggests they focused their resources like a laser on core reasoning math and code, and maybe sacrifice some of that broad encyclopedic world knowledge.
It's a specialist, not a generalist. That makes sense.
It's in the name. It excels at one thing by giving up a bit of breadth.
Okay, so that leads to the really big question.
Okay.
How did they pull this off without just, having 10 times the compute budget of everyone else?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is a real technical breakthrough. It's something they call DeepSeek Sparse Attention, or DSA.
DSA. I know that standard attention scales quadratically, which means computation just explodes as you add more context. How does DSA change that math?
Well, standard attention is, it's inefficient. Every single token has to look at every other token. It's a nightmare.
Okay.
DSA uses what they call a lightning indexer to intelligently pick out only the most relevant top-POC tokens for any given query.
So it's like a smart filter. It ignores all the background noise, the filler words, and just laser focuses on what actually matters to solve the problem.
That's a perfect way to put it. And by tuning out that noise, they gained this massive efficiency. It's why they could push the context window to a huge 128K tokens without the model slowing to a crawl like others do.
And that efficiency saving is what they then poured into the post-training, right? This feels like a huge philosophical shift.
It absolutely is. This is the real special sauce. The report says their post-training compute budget was more than 10% of the entire pre-training cost.
Which is unheard of.
Completely.
Yeah.
Historically, that budget is a tiny fraction. It validates this idea that the real magic, the real intelligence, is unlocked after the core training is done. You have to spend big to teach the model how to think, fail, and self-correct.
The tech is amazing, the benchmarks are incredible, but for developers listening, it all comes down to practicality. What does it cost, and what are the catches?
And the pricing model is clearly designed to be a market disruption. It is extremely aggressive.
Give us the numbers.
On the DeepSeek API, if you get a cache hit on your input, it's priced at an absurdly low 0.028 tuples per million tokens.
28 cents.
Per million.
Yeah.
Output is a bit more, 0.42 time per million. But this is still way, way cheaper than what you'd pay for similar capabilities from the big closed-source labs.
That cache-it pricing seems like a game changer for repetitive tasks, like analyzing documents with a similar structure over and over.
A total game changer for that kind of workflow.
Okay, that price is so low it makes me nervous. There has to be a catch, especially for the super powerful special model.
There is, and it's a big one. It's a critical, unavoidable caveat. The API endpoint for the top-tier reasoning model has a hard expiration date.
An expiration date?
Yep. The endpoint is literally called V3.2 Speciale 22.5.2 Exing. It goes dark on December 15th, 2025.
Wow, okay. Why? Why build a world-beating model and then just pull the plug?
I think it's a strategic data gathering mission. It's a flex, for sure, but it's more than that. The model is incredibly expensive to run because of those massive internal reasoning traces.
Right.
So they're letting the world use this hyper-expensive brain for limited time to collect training data for the next version. Every query you send is basically subsidized R&D for their V4 model.
So it's a limited time chance to play with the cutting edge, and in return, you're helping them build its successor. What about for people who want to run it locally, for privacy or other reasons?
Well, the hardware reality is, it's a monster. A mixture of experts model with hundreds of billions of parameters. To run it in full precision, you need serious enterprise gear, multiple A100s or H100s.
Not a consumer setup. What about a high-end consumer, someone with, say, dual RTX 4090s?
You'd have to use heavy quantization, and it would push that system to its absolute limit, but it's technically possible. But there's a crucial software trick. You can't just load the weights and go. To unlock that Grandmaster level IQ, you have to correctly handle what they call the thinking mode and the thinking tokens.
The internal monologue.
Exactly. It's like the model's scratchpad. If you strip that out, if you just ask for the final answer, its IQ just plummets. You're basically taking away the professor's whiteboard.
Let's try to pull this all together, then. For so long, choosing open source felt like a compromise. You got cost and privacy, but you gave up a bit of that raw top-tier intelligence.
That entire calculation has now been flipped on its head. The choice is no longer just about cost. It's about choosing superior intelligence for specific domains, like math and code.
It feels like the commoditization of reasoning is happening right in front of us. When an open source model can rival, and in some cases beat, the best that trillion-dollar companies can produce, that proprietary moat starts to look pretty shallow.
It's a huge win for open science. It proves that clever architecture like DSA and a big investment in post-training can matter more than just raw parameter count.
Which brings us to a final provocative thought. This super powerful special model is a temporary thing. It's a burst of raw, expensive thinking that disappears at the end of next year.
But they're collecting data from every single interaction.
Exactly. So what happens when DeepSeek takes all those efficiency gains from DSA and all that high-quality reasoning data they're harvesting and rolls it into a V4 model that is cheap, efficient, and permanently available?
That is the question that should be keeping executives at other AI labs up at night. That's the real competitive landscape for 2026.
Something to think about as you start experimenting.
Always a pleasure.